MS is a very unique disease to everyone that has it. You can meet someone who's the same age as you, got diagnosed the same day as you, had the same everything, and your journey with the disease can be totally opposite of each other. Like I've had it for, I was diagnosed in 2012 and
11 years.
And there's nothing I can't do. Like I do jujitsu 4 days a week.
Well, that's what I was going to say, that when you hear MS, that's a devastating. I remember working with Sharon at the time. It was devastating.
Yeah.
You know, you're her baby boy. You're always, regardless of how old you are, you're always a baby boy. I was oh my God, you hear a child has MS. And then throughout the years, I've been watching you do climbing mountains and doing fitness things and like beyond what anybody that has no diagnosis.
I feel like every show you do is either ghost or challenges.
Yeah.
You're challenging your body to like reach the max.
Did you find a cure?
No, I don't know if I found a cure. Because I'm the world's worst MS patient. I'll tell you that. Like, if a doctor says don't do that or do it, I'm like, meh. Like, I haven't taken my meds in a very long time.
You don't take your meds?
No. And
why?
So this is the kind of person I am. So the doctor's like, all right, take these meds, you know, it'll help, whatever. And I was doing it for a long time. And then I had the thought of like, well, what happens if I stop taking my meds? How long can I go without a significant like flare up? That was 5 years.
What is a flare up? Tell me what a flare up is.
So a flare up, the way MS attacks your body, it's an autoimmune disease where your immune system basically goes, nerve ending's bad, let's attack them. And so it erodes this fatty sheath around your nerves, which is called myelin. And so it demyelinates the nerve, exposes the kind of core of the nerve, like think of it as like the copper inside of a wire.
Okay.
And that will break down over time. So when you have a flare up, it means like, oh, your body's gone into like its state of inflammation, it's attacking a nerve, and then eventually it will subside.
Is it painful? Like, what did you feel? How did you know you had MS?
So what prompted me to go to the hospital was I went blind in my right eye, like fully. I had about maybe 5 or 10% of my peripheral vision. You
just woke up one day and you couldn't see?
It was over 3 days. So like I woke up and I had like a black dot in the middle of my vision. And then throughout the day, it kind of got bigger and bigger. And then within 3 days, I had, all central vision was just gone. So I did what any normal person does. When there's a problem with your eye, you go to the eye doctor and you're like, what's going on? And then they sent me to the hospital and I had all the tests done. And they were like, no, this is MS, because they determined it was MS, not only because of the test, but 18 months prior, my legs went numb for like 3 months. And me just being a 25-year-old, knucklehead, I was just like, oh, I pinched a nerve in my back, I'll be fine. And I just, eventually the feeling came back to my legs. But
you were walking around with numb legs?
Yeah. And it was the strangest kind of numbness too, because like I couldn't really, like it felt like when I touched my legs, the feeling it felt was like my legs were Play-Doh. It was just weird. And then if hot water touched my legs, it felt icy cold. And if cold water touched my legs, it felt burning hot.
And you didn't go the first day. You didn't go to the...
No, this is the difference between you and I, Howie.
Big difference.
I am like there's people who are who are very hyper concerned about that stuff, and then there's people who are just like, I don't care.
Actually, you guys are very similar. He is very concerned about everyone around him and his family, and will make you go to the doctor as soon as you say that there's an issue. He won't.
Oh, okay.
He never does.
But I'm afraid of the doctor.
Yeah.
But I'm afraid of catching something there because there'll be other sick people there.
Yeah.
But I would imagine that if my legs were Play-Doh, I might at least go to the eye doctor.
Yeah.
Howie, do you have doctors come to you?
No.
No.
No, you went to the doctor yesterday.
No. Oh yeah, I went to I had to go get shots because I'm going out of town. But my point is, as you describe your experience, for most people listening and watching, that's pretty harrowing.
Yeah.
So now you get diagnosed,
mm-hmm.
and they say to you, you need these medications because the prognosis you're given by the traditional doctor is what? What did they say to you?
Well, in my experience, they never really gave you, they can't give you a prognosis other than like, hey, you've got this disease. Here's where it could go, but it might not. We don't know, because there's so many. It's like I said, it's literally as unique to the individual that has it as their own fingerprint. It is. There's no.
Did you get depressed?
I got bummed out because I was depressed because it was like Pearl was 3 weeks old when I got diagnosed. I was 27, 28. And I was like, cool, like this is a great time in my life. And, I'd been sober for a while at that point. And I was like, well, what the fuck was this? Like, what's the point in any of this? So I had that for a short window. And then I ended up at a place where it was, well, I've got this baby and I have to take care of her. And I was with my ex-wife at the time, and I had to pony up, really.